And we'll begin lying down, any comfortable position for you. So just a reminder to listen to your body. Only do what's comfortable for you. You can change the pose or poses in ways that feel better for you in your body. You can come out of the pose, come into any kind of resting posture that feels good, and then join us again whenever you are ready. So let's first pay attention to the sensation of the breath. Our breath, that wonderful life force energy. Notice where you feel the breath the most in your body. And take note of the quality of your breath. Is it shallow or deep? Quick or slow? Taking deep inhales and long, slow exhales. And if it's comfortable for you, inhaling into your diaphragm and exhaling slower than your inhales. On your exhales, letting go of any tension, letting go of any thoughts. Even if it's just for now. So today's class is based on mantra. So a mantra is a tool that we use to help us concentrate. It is something that can be effective to help us calm our mind and our thoughts and to stay focused on the present moment. So I invite you to just find a little bit of quiet here in your breath, still taking those deep inhales and long, slow exhales, but see if you can pay attention to that quiet moment, maybe between the inhale and the exhale, and between the exhale and the inhale. And then perhaps being open to receiving a word or phrase that speaks to you. Something that perhaps you need to hear right now. And then I invite you to take that word or phrase and perhaps change it into a mantra by using the words I am. So, for example, if your word is peace, I am peace. If perhaps you would like, you can find the opposite word and then take those two words and turn them into a phrase like inhale peace, exhale struggle. If maybe this is a difficult activity for you today, you can use a mantra that I have here. So, first one, I am worthy of love. When I speak to myself, I choose loving and kind words. I can't control everything, and that's okay. So, taking that mantra that you have chosen with you into our practice today, and I'll give you some reminders along the way. So, finding some small movements here in your fingers and toes. Perhaps rolling around wrists and ankles. Okay, and whenever you're ready, hugging both knees in towards your chest. Maybe you find some movement here, rocking back and forth, side to side. Maybe it's circles. Okay, so we're going to find a pose that's kind of like a child's pose on the back. So maybe you just hold on to your knees, or perhaps if you're able to, bringing your arms around your shins and just hugging your knees in towards your chest. So knees don't have to come all the way, just as far as they feel comfortable. And if it's difficult to reach your legs, perhaps instead of your arms, placing a strap across your legs. I don't have one handy to show you. And then using the strap to pull your legs a little bit closer. And noticing your breath. Softening your shoulders. Softening your head and your neck. Perhaps in this moment of stillness, you can hear your mantra. Finding 2 more rounds of breath. And then gently releasing your feet to the earth. All right, allowing your feet to come mat distance apart and windshield wipering your knees from side to side. Okay, from here, let's come into a moving bridge pose. Feet come about hip distance apart, knees are bent. And then whenever you're ready, pushing your feet into the earth, lift your hips, squeeze your inner thighs, and exhale to lower. And just moving at your own pace. Inhale, hips come up, and exhale, hips lower. Perhaps you bring your arms into this as your hips come up, arms reach up and back behind you. And as you exhale, arms come back down by your sides. So finding one more here. If you feel discomfort in your low back at any point during our practice, feet come mat distance apart, windshield wipering the knees. So we do this to help release any tension in the low back, and it's a lot gentler on the back instead of hugging the knees in right into a stretch. Okay, from here, let's bring the legs out long. And the arms come long behind you, fingernails to the earth. Okay, we're going to find our banana shape here. So allowing your head and shoulders to come over towards the right side of your mat. Legs come over towards the right side of your mat as well. Find what feels good for you here. Maybe you grab a hold of the right wrist to pull the arm, no, left wrist to pull the wrist over a little bit further, finding a deeper stretch. Maybe the left ankle crosses over the right, as long as both hips stay on the earth. Once you find this comfortable stretch, softening your body into this pose. Release the need to grip or hold. If your mind wanders, coming back to your mantra, or perhaps the sensation of your breath. Finding one more round of breath. And then releasing here and coming back to center. Arms come long, legs come long, stretch here, and then allowing the left, shoulders and head to come over towards the left side, legs to the left side. Find whatever variation feels the best for you on this side. And once you get there, release tension. Finding one more round of breath. And then gently making your way back to center. Okay, bringing your arms back down by your sides and feet back to the earth, knees are bent. Okay, so we're going to find a reclined shoelace, but I'm going to give you two options just in case the first option is too much for your body. So we'll start right knee crosses over the left knee, activating your feet and drawing your legs closer to you. It's kind of like longhorn. Left hand comes to the right leg somewhere, maybe to the shin. Right hand comes to the left leg. Okay, so instead of bringing our feet up so that our shins are parallel to the ceiling, we're going to leave our feet dangling. Maybe if it's comfortable for you, you walk your hands down towards your ankles. So if this does not feel good for you in your body, feel free to relax the left foot to the earth with a bent knee, and perhaps you find a leg cradle instead, activating your right foot, grabbing a hold of the right foot if you can, and holding on to the leg with the right arm. And we're just going to stay in this pose for a few rounds of breath. So whichever one feels the best for you. Softening your shoulders. Allowing your head and neck to settle. If perhaps you're feeling a little bit of discomfort somewhere, not pain, but discomfort, sending your breath to that part of you. If there's pain, please come out. At this point in our pose, you might be feeling a little something in the hips. Notice if maybe your mantra helps you, or maybe it doesn't. Let's find one more round of breath. And then releasing your legs, uncrossing your legs. All right, feet come mat distance apart, windshield wipering your knees from side to side. I hope you like this movement because we're going to do it a lot. All right, bringing the feet back towards each other. So this time left knee crosses over the right. So again, maybe you draw the legs closer to you, activate your feet as you do this, slightly curl back the toes, grabbing a hold of wherever is comfortable here, or maybe you find that leg cradle with the right foot on the earth. Could also bring the right leg long if that's in your body, if you're in the leg cradle. And sink and settle into the earth. Maybe you can find quiet and peace on those pauses between the inhale and exhale, and between the exhale and inhale. Let's find 2 more rounds of breath. And then gently releasing. Feet come mat distance apart, windshield wipering the knees. Okay, whenever you're ready, rolling over to one side and then gently making your way up to seated. Oops. All right, so any comfortable seated position for you. And we're going to come into eagle arms today, if that's comfortable for you. If not, then you're going to bring your hands to your shoulders, and then I'll kind of explain what else you can do to help with the stretch a little bit. So eagle arms, we'll start right arm out in front, left arm over top, bending the elbows, maybe the backs of the hands come together, maybe you're able to wrap the hands, elbows to shoulder height. Relax the shoulders and hands away from your face. If your arms are at your hands are at your shoulders, perhaps you find more of a hug, bringing your hands back behind you, round your spine. Feel a stretch along the upper back, maybe even mid back. If you're in eagle arms, elbows come to the chest, hands away from the face, tuck the chin in towards your chest. If you're in this hug mode, tucking the chin in as well. On your next inhale, coming back up, release the arms, and let's find some shoulder rolls. On your inhale, shoulders roll up towards your ears, and on your exhales, shoulders roll back and down your spine. Okay, so wherever you are, if your legs are crossed, changing the cross of your legs. And we're going to find that eagle arms or arm cross on the opposite side. So eagle arms, left arm out first, right arm over top. If you're hugging yourself, find that hug just opposite arm on top from the last time. Softening your shoulders. On your next exhale, eagle arms, elbows come to the chest, tucking the chin in towards the chest. The other pose, just tucking the chin. Notice where you feel a stretch in this pose. Finding one more round of breath. And then gently coming back up to center and releasing your arms, finding some shoulder rolls up towards your ears and back and down your spine. Okay, so we're going to find a wide-legged forward fold. But if you would like, you can grab some props if you have them nearby to kind of help you sink and settle into this pose for a few minutes. So perhaps you have pillows, maybe it's some blocks and a pillow or a bolster. I'm going to turn just so you can actually see how I set this up. So we're going to bring the props in front of us. Maybe you create a bit of a ramp here with your props, so one block comes higher than the other, placing your props, your pillow or whatever it is on top. Okay, so sometimes this pose can be a little bit difficult to lean forward into and a little bit of pressure on the low back. So I invite you to find a blanket or something that you can sit on, just placing underneath your, just to sit on the edge here underneath your sits bones. Sorry, it might be hard to get into it now that you've got everything set up. All right, coming as close as you comfortably can to your prop. So legs are going to come out as wide as you feel comfortable. Notice that this blanket or whatever it is underneath you kind of helps you tip forward a little bit, okay? So we're going to activate both feet before we come into this. Inhale to lengthen the spine and exhale to fold forward. Hands come down by the sides. Head can turn in any direction, or maybe forehead comes towards your ramp that you have created. If your head doesn't come down all the way, or if you don't have a ramp, maybe you use blocks or something to reach forward towards. Something to hold on to, and then just soften your head. From here, softening your feet. Finding your breath. So in these longer holds, sometimes a little bit of a feeling of discomfort may come up. So like I said earlier, as long as there isn't any sharp shooting pain, or maybe I didn't say it earlier, as long as there isn't any sharp shooting pain, a little bit of discomfort is okay. Send your breath there. And as you send your breath there, watch the sensation change. Now, if you're feeling discomfort in your low back, perhaps come out of the pose and then try once again activating the feet. Find length in the spine and hinge forward from your hips. Let's find 2 more rounds of breath here. And then slowly coming back up to seated. All right, so let's remove the props that are in front of us. Perhaps you bring your legs out front and find a little bit of movement in your legs, shaking them around. All right, we're going to come down onto the earth, onto our front body. Okay, and we're going to find a shoulder pigeon here. So in our shoulder pigeon, be sure to listen to your body and don't go all the way because it can be really uncomfortable the next day if you go all the way. Go maybe like 70% of the way. So depending on your spacing, perhaps you find cactus arms or goalpost arms, or maybe arms come out into a T shape. Okay, and then you're going to turn your head towards the left side, and we're going to move over towards our right side in just a moment. So head is to the earth, and then bringing your left hand underneath your left shoulder and slowly start to roll over onto your right side. Perhaps the left foot comes to the earth with the knee bent up towards the sky. Or maybe you step that left foot back behind you. Maybe this is all too much and you find more of like a tree pose or a cuddle pose, knee on the earth, tuck the foot in towards the opposite leg. So if this still feels like you're not quite at 70%, maybe the left hand reaches up and back behind you. Hand can come towards the low back. Let's find one more round of breath here. And then slowly making your way back over onto your front body. Before we come to the other side, we'll come into crocodile. Hands come underneath your forehead, stacking your hands. Feet come wide on the mat. Be careful if you have a bunch of stuff around you like I do. Toes point out towards the sides. And gently lifting your head and bringing your feet back towards center. Arms come out to either goalpost or T shape. And then again, turning this time towards your head towards the right side, and then slowly making your way over onto your left side body as far as you feel comfortable. Remember, lots of options here. I know that if you have to use cactus arms because of your space issue, you may not go quite as far. Space issue. I don't mean it by issue. Maybe you're like me and you have a wall next to you. Once you find your way there, see if you can release tension. Release the feeling like you are trying to hold yourself up somehow. Finding one more round of breath. And slowly rolling back over onto your front body and finding crocodile once again. In this resting pose, does it feel easier to connect to your mantra? Or maybe not. And whenever you're ready, bringing your feet back together, lifting your head, let's slowly make our way into a tabletop pose. And then find any movements here that feel good for you and your body. Perhaps it's C shape, cat cow. Maybe you stay in the cat pose or cow pose, whatever feels right today. Okay, and then whenever you're ready, making your way onto your back, we're going to find a twist. Okay, so this twist is a little different. I'm sorry, if you need to, you can grab a block or pillow to bring close by in case you need to place it underneath one of your legs. So whenever you're ready, you're going to bring your feet more like mat distance apart. Arms come out to the side, palms face up. And then whenever you're ready, allowing your knees to drop over towards the right side. So this may feel like more of a stretch for the front of the left thigh. So here are some options here. You can use blankets, or blocks to support your knees here. So maybe you place something underneath that bottom knee if you need to, or maybe you find a couple of blocks to place underneath the left knee, or maybe you're comfortable without anything here. Perhaps you look towards the left side, finding a little bit more of a twist here. And what do you need in this pose? Do you need to reconnect to your breath? Find silence in your breath. Or maybe find your mantra. So know that as we're in this pose, if it starts to kind of suck, feel free to come out. Maybe you just come into a different variation of a twist. Maybe you stack knees or whatever works for you in your body today. If you're in this wider legged variation, notice if anything has started to shift. Let's find one more round of breath here. And then gently bringing the knees back to center. And we're just going to find some windshield wiper movement here in the knees. Okay, and then whenever you're ready, allowing your knees to drop over towards the left side this time. Maybe you turn your head towards the right, finding whatever variation you need on this side. If it's starting to feel intense, maybe sending your breath to that part of you that's calling out for your attention. Imagine your breath like energy moving into that area and then moving back out. Noticing if anything has shifted. Maybe things have softened. Noticing what's happening in your mind. And be kind and compassionate with yourself. On your next inhale, allowing your knees to come back to center. Feet are mat distance apart. Windshield wiper your knees. Last time. Okay. What do you feel like you need in your body before we come into Shavasana? Maybe it's a pose. Maybe it's not like a yoga pose. It could be any kind of movement that feels good for you. Maybe you just need to find socks and a blanket, whatever you feel like you need here. So we have about a minute. I'll let you know when we are about halfway through in case you want to come to the other side of your pose or change to something different. We are halfway through. Once you feel like this side or pose is complete, coming into Shavasana or any final resting pose that will feel good for you and your body. Once you get there, lowering or closing your eyes. Taking deep inhales and long, slow exhales. And with every exhale, maybe you are able to soften your body down towards the earth just a little bit more. And notice if the mantra that you chose at the beginning of our practice still resonates with you. And if it doesn't, perhaps finding another mantra. Maybe you stay with your mantra, or maybe you just find quiet and peace. So I invite you to take your mantra with you off of your mat and into the world. Perhaps you use it the next time stress arises or some kind of difficult emotions come up, and just see what happens. Making some small movements here in your fingers and toes. Maybe those small movements become bigger movements. And whenever you're ready, rolling over to one side. And gently making your way up to seated. And once you get there, lowering or closing your eyes. Taking deep inhales and long, slow exhales. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. That light is a place of peace, love, kindness, and compassion. When you are in that place in you and I am in that place in me, there is no difference and no distance between us. Together we are the same. We are one. Thank you for joining me today. Have a beautiful evening.